Hello everybody, my name is George Williams and I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System. And today I'm going to talk about changes to cataloging and lists that are coming in Koha 2211. That's the version of Koha we will be upgrading to on the night of Saturday, August 26th. In an earlier video recording I said August 29th. I got the date wrong. So that's the date of the Next Search Catalog Users Group meeting, not the date of the upgrade. The upgrade will happen just a couple days before. So let's talk about changes to cataloging. I've already mentioned this before in the very first video. Currently in Koha, if we go to cataloging and we click on the cataloging button, there's nothing there. There's a whole lot of nothing on this page. Everything from the heading catalog on down is blank. In the new version, if we click on cataloging, we will see all of the cataloging tools have been moved over here. The import and export tools, reports and inventory, fast cataloging, batch editing, the label creator, and if you have permission to access the system preferences, the preferences for cataloging and the configurations for cataloging are all there. All of these things, almost all of these things, used to be in the previous version. They were under tools and they were in the middle of the page. They've all moved now. If you go to tools in the new version, you will only see the patron and circulation and the additional tools. All the cataloging tools that used to be in the middle of that there, they've now moved over to the cataloging page. So I'm saying that again because that way, it's something I learned when I was teaching college students, is you say something 3 times so that the students will hear you once. So hopefully, after saying this in the other video and after saying this in this video, everybody will know that the cataloging tools have moved, and I will only get 50 questions on Monday about where are those tools, where's the label creator, where's this, where's that, instead of 150. So the next thing I want to talk about, cataloging, let's go to an existing record, search the catalog, All-Star Test. There is something new that you can do when you're adding items. You can create an item template. So I'm pulling up a record here and I'm going to click on Edit Items and just go straight to the Edit Items page. And at the top now, there is a set of controls. They do not float, they will disappear. But I've created a template here, and if I click on a template, it will populate the things from that template. You click Apply Template, and it's going to add all of the things that I put in that template earlier to the item record. So let me show that again. I'm going to let me go back to the normal page. I'm going to click on Edit Items. Right now it says do not use template, but if there is a saved template, I can click on the template and then click Apply Template, and all of the things that I have done before when I created the template will be automatically added to that record. Let me clear the screen. So how do we create a template? I am going to say, let's say I'm creating items and I know that this is going to be an adult item. I know that it's going to be a book. I know that it's going to be a nonfiction book. I know that the source of acquisitions is Amazon. I know that the normal purchase price is $39.99, and that the replacement price is going to be $35.99. And let's say that's all I need, and I'm going to create a template that does that. Let's say I've got 50 nonfiction books that I want to add to the collection. These settings are going to be the same on all of them. And so I can there it is, save it as a template. It's at the bottom of the screen. Save as a new template, GHW. And click on save. So now, if I choose that template from the drop-down, GHW Adult Nonfiction Book, and I click on this box here that says for session, then for the next, until I unclick that for session, it's going to add all of that stuff to every item that I add until I unclick that checkbox that says for session. All I've got to do is click apply template, and it will continue to use that template until I unclick the checkbox. All I've got to do is click on add item, click on apply template, and it will add those same values. I can think of 1,000 different ways that this can be good for catalogers to create up templates that they can use. I can also think of 1,000 different ways that this can be overly complicated. And so by the same way that the lists are complicated with the fact that we have a bazillion lists. So honestly, I'm going to disable the share template box for most people. That way they can't create a shared template. Because I can see some issues where there will be too many templates and people will be able to delete shared templates. So for the time being, until we can come up with a way of making sure that the shared templates aren't going to become a burden for everybody, I'm just going to disable the ability to share them for everybody except NECLS staff until we get some different things going on with catalogers. And we can talk to the cataloging committee about that. But that's the cataloging templates. You'll be able to create templates that you can use. Maybe there's something that you always do with young adult graphic novels. You know, there's just a million possibilities with the way that this can speed up the process for catalogers. So that's cataloging templates. It's still something I'm learning about, and it's still something we need to work on as a group, particularly with the shared templates, but that's an introduction to it. The next thing I wanted to talk about are lists. So I've got lists pulled up on the test server, and I'm not showing any public lists that are controlled by any patrons. I'm limiting them to just the ones controlled by tech staff. There has been an issue in the OPAC with lists. There are 475 lists. And in the OPAC, there is no good way to search through the lists. And until this version of Koha, there has been no way to say staff can create public lists and patrons cannot. That changes with this version of Koha. Beginning Saturday, the 26th of August, after the upgrade, patrons will no longer be able to create public lists in the OPAC. Only staff will be able to create public lists. The other thing that's different is that NECLS staff will be able to transfer the ownership of lists. So let's say Baser Tech has been keeping this list of National or Winchester has been keeping this list of National Book Award for Poetry winners, and they no longer want to maintain that list, but somebody else does. Instead of having that somebody else, maybe Basertec wants to maintain that list. Instead of deleting this list and letting Basertec create a new one, I have the ability at the NECLS office to go in here, click on transfer. Currently owned by Winchester Tech, so we'll look up Basertec. Click on that and click on transfer. Now when we go back to the list of lists, let's go to your lists, not public lists. Now that National Book Award for Poetry list is owned by Basertec. So this, particularly, I've had a couple of libraries, I've slowed down on individualized logins because of this issue, but that's been one of the issues that's slowed down the individualized logins, is what do we do when we've created a ton of lists under this generic username? What do we do when we lose those generic usernames? Well, the answer is we can transfer them to a different username. So that will be something in the new feature, in the new version. This also gives me, as a system administrator, and the other staff at NECLS that are system administrators, it gives us the ability to go in and where's a questionable list? We're in the test server, so some of these lists are quite old, but is the Baser movie alert for July of 22 really relevant anymore? We could delete this list or we could edit it. We could go in and we could say this list is no longer a public list, we can make it a private list. And then instead of 474 lists in the OPAC that are public lists, then we would only have 473 or 472. I've changed so many of these on the test server, I forget how many are left. There's 472 left on the test server. But this way, if this, in the past we had talked about having guidelines for lists and what's appropriate and what's inappropriate and the length of time lists stay on the OPAC and a whole bunch of other issues, but we didn't have a way of managing that. This gives us the ability to come up with some guidelines for how to use public lists, who use public lists. Do we really need a what's new at your library in March of 2017 list before there was no way that NECLS staff could go in and remove that list or change it from public to private or delete it or transfer the ownership or anything like that. All of these features in the new version give us the ability to better manage the public lists and get that list of public lists in the OPAC down from 472 to maybe something a little more manageable. So those are all things that will be coming up in the new version related to lists. So those are the big changes coming to cataloging and lists in Koha 2211. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know. A reminder again that change is happening on August 26th. It's a Saturday night. It's after 10 p.m. I will be available on Sunday for any libraries that have questions on Sunday, and then I'll be in the office all day Monday to answer people's questions too. Thanks for watching. One more video coming on changes to the OPAC.